So we got a few participants here. We got Michael Fishman. I don't know if we want to say anything about him. Let me look at who is here. We got Dr. Cherie Ong. Cherie Ong has a brand new book out called Everything Men Know About Vaginas. That's for another discussion. Mr. Joel Well, it's a true story, by the way. Mary Bruce, yoga instructor extraordinary. We got Mike Dudley, Genius X. Mike, are you there?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Good. I'm doing great. So me and Dean are going to jump right into. I'm going to call on you. Can you stay with us during this time, or you're on the limited time frame?
No, I'm good.
Okay, cool. I want you to give everyone a heads up about the top educational app on the Oculus store, the only existing one that I think currently, and I should know that because I'm a co-founder of the company that started it. So we'll talk about that. So Dean, there's more people I can call on here, but let's see. Is Martha here? Let's see if Martha's here. I don't see her.
I saw her in the chat. She just posted in chat.
Oh, she is. Martha, can you come on camera or no?
I could if you really want. I'm out outside.
Are you outside?
I am, yeah.
I can't even see her. Is it? Let's see. There you are. Yeah. Okay. Well, welcome, Martha McSally.
There's the sun. Beautiful sun.
Yeah, you're in Tucson getting hiking. She's a badass. She's the kind of a, Senate Congresswoman, the first female combat fighter in the United States, in the world. I mean, that's kind of a big deal. And what's your book? Give a plug for your book, Martha. So everyone here,
sure.
Everyone that's here, I want you to get Martha's book. She's amazing. And so give a plug for your book.
You're awesome.
And then we'll put a link for it in the chat. But yeah.
All right. It's called Dare to Fly: Simple Lessons in Never Giving Up. So, just taking stories from flying the A-10 in combat and other experiences in life, but it's not about me, just about some tools along the way for persevering and overcoming fear and some other stuff. So Dare to Fly.
Yeah, thank you. And I met Martha, I don't know how many months ago, with Vern Harnish. We were both speaking at Vern Harnish, the founder of EO, his event in Denver, and we totally hit it off, and she's absolutely fantastic. So I think it will be really helpful for all of you. And just like my book, which is a great holiday gift for Christmas or New Year's, get Martha's too, and give it out to people. And so Dean, go ahead. I'll call on a few more people. There's a lot of awesome people here today, and I'll do a few shout outs. We got Greg Santos. I think we got Dave, who runs Elf Coaching. He may be on. If not, we'll play a video of Dave. So go ahead, Dean. What are we going to share with everyone today to set themselves up?
What are we going to share? You know what I want to start off with? A Christmas promotion that could be still fast enough for you to get in on this. And I'm very excited about it because I've been thinking about this for a long time. And we had a great laboratory now to experiment with on this. So my girlfriend Luba owns a studio called Amazing Brows and Lashes, and they do eyebrow microblading and permanent makeup and facials and all the fancy equipment that does all these expensive facial things. And I came up with this idea that I've been wanting to test. And we got it into action and in the mailboxes to arrive. They should be arriving today. So maybe even while we're speaking, I'll get some updates on the results. But can I share my screen here to show you guys something? And this is the perfect thing if you have something that would be perfect for a gift card. So let me set the stage here. So we've sent this, we chose 500 of Luba's clients. These are people who've come and spent money in her Amazing Brows and Lashes studio, but we only have the names of the actual clients, and we want their partners to know that they can buy them a gift card for Christmas. So how do you deliver that message to the partner if you don't know the partner's name? So my brainstorm was, if we address the envelope to the person in charge of making sure Dean Jackson has the best Christmas ever, So that's how the envelope goes out. Please rush to the person in charge of making sure Joe Polish has the best Christmas ever. And we put his address there. Now, the live stamp on the thing, no return address, but an embossed Amazing Brows and Lashes. What do you call that? Like a embossing stamp thing. So it's a raised thing on there. A number 12 envelope, slightly bigger than a number 10 envelope. So it's going to be the most interesting thing you get in the mailbox today. And then here's the letter. Merry Christmas. If you're reading this, that means you're in charge of Christmas for someone very special to us. And we want her to have the best Christmas ever this year. I've got a really easy way to help. With one phone call or text, we can set up a gift card for her from you, packaged in a beautiful card. And as a gift from us, we'll include a free lash lift treatment to add to whatever facial, eyebrow, or permanent makeup treatment she chooses with her gift card. We can set the gift card for any amount you choose, up to $10,000. Just call or text, and we'll take care of the rest. Love, Luba. P.S. Just scan the QR code to see the gift card and all the amazing facials and services she can choose from. So when you look at this, I'm pretty happy about this. I'm being able to kind of crack that code of going to the person in charge opens this up as something you can do for any special occasion. If you've got something that a gift card would be great, or something birthday gift, or you could do it on people's birthdays. So the person in charge of making sure Joe Polish has the best birthday ever, or you could do it to the husbands for Valentine's Day, to the person in charge of making sure Gina has the best Christmas or the best Valentine's Day ever, or the best Mother's Day ever, or the best Father's Day ever. You think about all of the ways that you could use this. I just think as a device to get to the person in charge. Now, we did a promotion similar to this with Lane Bowers, and you may remember Lane as the barefoot water skier that he spoke at our first I Love Marketing event. And he was a world champion barefooter, and he has a ski school here in Winter Haven, and they sell all kinds of equipment for barefooters, booms and wetsuits and handles and all that stuff. And we did a little promotion where we put together a Christmas wish book for his clients. And then we sent them an email saying, hey, Joe, I figured out a way for you to get exactly what you want for Christmas this year. Click here and I'll tell you all about it. And that was the email that sent them to a video where we showed Lane holding the Christmas wish book that we emailed to them as a PDF and said, here's how it works. I just emailed you the Christmas wish book, and we had the Christmas wish book logo on the thing. And I demonstrated to them now. So download this Christmas wish book, take a highlighter and circle the things that you really want and put stars beside the ones you really want. Then accidentally leave it out so that somebody can discover it, and that'll make it super easy for them to make Christmas, because on everything we've got the website and the phone number for people to call. So 2 Christmas promotions coming from either side. If you want to go to your clients, tell them how to make sure that somebody who's in charge of buying their gifts gets in front of, that the message gets in front of them, and how to get in front of that person without even your clients knowing that you're doing it. So I'm super excited about that one. Have you ever got anything like that in your mailbox, Joe?
Look, I've got a lot of really cool similar things, so many stuff. And I mean, I've gotten things that obviously from you, which always has a creativity. The beauty about it is even just the way you address the envelope. I mean, just speak to that, Dean, if you could, with the psychology behind it, because it's
that was the whole thing, right? Is being able to do it in a way that seems so personal, but having that label on there, please rush to the person in charge of making sure Joe Polish has the best Christmas ever, is just, I thought about this, that what we might do let's just a show of hands. If you got an envelope like that was to the person in charge of your name doing the thing, let me just, and be honest about this, is what would you do if you got that? Would you open it yourself or would you leave it out for somebody to find it? Just put in the chat, open it or leave it. So I'd like to see what people would do. You'd leave it out. Okay, Robert would leave it out.
Leave it out.
Open. So I thought what would be very funny is to put another envelope with the same label inside of the envelope with a lift note that says, have the whole thing, have it sealed in again, but have a lift note and say, Joe, if this is you opening this, the point is I'm trying to help you get what you want for Christmas. So I'm going to give you another chance. Here's another sealed envelope. Just leave this one out on the counter and make sure that somebody else sees it so they can buy you a nice Christmas surprise. But what was the tally here? Let's look at the chat and see what the
I think there's more open it, but let's see. I quit looking after a while, but there's quite. It's interesting. It's a lot of leave it out.
Open, leave it, leave. Open, leave.
Well, let's ask Kenny Arnoff.
Wait, Danny says, yeah.
Where's Kenny Arnoff at? Is Kenny?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. So Kenny Arnoff, if you don't know, is not just one of the best drummers in the world. But what would you say? Why would you open it or leave it out?
I'd open it because I'm kind of I like to be in charge of everything I do.
That's so funny.
Yeah, and then I'd probably put the other envelope out. That's what I would do.
Once you're onto it, right? That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
I think that's funny, but I think that would be a little a laugh for people too, right? Because about probably 50-50 of the people would open it and 50 would leave it, And just so we put a little thing, just in case this is you, Joe.
Yeah.
So,
hey, well, Kenny, look, because I like bragging about people. Kenny, how many albums are you on in the world?
300 million sold. I'm on. 3 were 40 million each with 2 Celine Dion records and Meatloaf, Bad Out of Hell 2. But then a couple other big ones, Ricky Martin, 20 million, all the Mellencamp records all added up together was probably 50 million.
Yeah. John Cougar Mellencamp's drummer. Kenny's a badass. If you guys don't know Kenny, look him up. And we got a great I Love Marketing episode we did, I don't know how many years ago that was.
yeah.
He wrote a book called Sex, Drums, and Rock and Roll.
Yeah.
See what he did there?
But it's not about sex. I just like the title.
Exactly.
The publisher went, Kenny, is this book about sex? Because the first word is sex.
Did Tommy Lee call you and say, damn it, you took my biography title?
Exactly. Tommy Lee that word means sex.
Yes.
You know what I mean? He in his case, he didn't need to have the word sex. Everybody knows. You know what I mean? With me, it would I was hoping it would just make people open up the cover, but I immediately made it very specific at the beginning. It was something like, hey, if you're looking for a book where the drummer had sex with 3,000 women, this isn't that book. Of course, they didn't see me wink. So,
it was only $2,999.
Yeah, something like that. Who's counting?
Kenny, as a marketing thing, what in your business, in the entertainment business, what have you seen as one of the best marketing promotional things ever? There's so many in that world, but what's something that really stands out to you?
Wow. Well, the first thing I can think about as far as marketing, anything with the word free. FREE will get people excited, whatever that is, and that gets people engaged, Yeah. And that's what I'm thinking of first, because that's what, you have to think a lot of the audiences, the biggest audiences typically are young audiences that are obsessed, with a band, and that band is the soundtrack of their life, whatever that music is. And when you start talking, okay, so if a ticket was very expensive, but you get a free this and a free that, it gets people excited. and it makes them feel like the artist cares about them. Well, hey, I'll give you this, you know. I mean, you know, it's interesting. One of the best at this is Taylor Swift. I mean,
Mhm.
man, she has got her social media, you know, the modern day of reaching people and engaging. She's got it down. Her people got it down. You know,
Mhm.
there was an interesting thing where they just sold. It was Live Nation put
Mhm.
her shows on sale. I don't know if you read about this, but the tickets went on sale and things got sold out so fast that her super fans missed out. Ta
Mhm.
Taylor Swift got involved and got engaged and was furious, but that was great promotion for
Mhm.
her fans, because then her fans saw she cares about us, and you know, lawyers got involved and so whatnot. But yeah, free is, I think, the big thing right there.
Yeah, love it, love it. You know, it's funny. I don't know if we'd want to put it out. I'd have to do some serious editing. But when you're here with Joe Satriani, after the show,
Yeah,
and that was what, 3 months ago or something
yeah,
like that, you were
yeah.
down here, and Kenny calls me up, invites me, of course, gets me backstage passes with Danny Zalesko, who's one of the top concert promoters in the world. And then I do on an iPhone, I film Kenny and Danny for like an hour, sharing all kinds of
Mm.
backstage stuff
Oh
with
my God.
musicians. It was so off the charts. It was so fascinating. It's so entertaining. It's hysterical. But I got that video and I'm trying to figure out like
Yeah.
how do we release that thing? It's so damn good.
Well, you're gonna have, what you're gonna hear is beep beep bleep beep beep, because everybody, you have to understand. I mean, Joe and me both aren't a loss for words, but Danny, he goes, he should have been the rock star. I mean, this
Yeah.
guy, he says whatever he wants, and it goes, you know, it's like I might be left to center. Well, let's say Joe's half of, I'm twice what Joe is left to center, but Danny's 10 times left to center. Right? I mean, he'll just say whatever he wants, and
Exactly.
he wants a reaction. And we're already in the rock and roll realm, so this guy goes outside of that. I mean, whoo, it's
Yeah,
great.
it's so good. Yeah, but so there's a lot to be said there, and I think
Yeah.
So as we're doing this, Dean, I'm just sitting there thinking of future episodes and
I
things.
know, I was thinking about Kenny that with it'd be good to do another episode now about how NFTs and blockchain and all this stuff is affecting the music industry, because
Well,
it's a whole new game.
Well, you know, I got approached so many times on that. I even had people come in and film my gold records. And then let's say I had Blaze of Glory. So on my wall, there's a Blaze of Glory, John Bon Jovi, first solo record. But I had the chart that I wrote, the handwritten, very
Mm.
detailed, looks like Chinese. I
Mhm.
write, I'm one, I don't know anybody who does it like me. I write every single note out.
You're
Right. When I got
technical
very,
drummer,
well,
right?
here's
Yeah.
why. So when I got done with that Joe Satriani tour, as soon as I landed, I had to look at 85 songs I have to learn for huge shows. Well, I can't memorize 85 songs and the
Right.
tempos. And in rehearsal, they're editing and changing. And these are with artists like Buddy Guy, Ann Wilson from Heart, John Fogerty, Stephen Stills, Kenny Wayne Shepherd, Billy Gibbons, Joe Bonamassa, and then this G4 thing with these ungodly virtuosic guitar players. Hey, I might be talented, but I ain't no genius. So I have figured a method, which is to write everything out. So anyway, I have these charts that I like. I'll do anything for love, but I won't do that by Meatloaf. I've got that chart, 4 or 5 pages. I've got Belinda Carlisle, Heaven on Earth. So I was holding up these gold records or platinum records and the chart, and they were filming that, and I was telling a story about the session, and the
Yeah.
idea was to sell them, and then we were going to make a website of my studio, and then you could go, is if there's a gold record on the wall, you touch the gold record, and then
Mhm.
you go inside that world and all this stuff, but it never happened. And you know,
Mm.
I mean, and this happened 3 times, and I don't know. And then there was another meeting I had with this guy, a manager guy, was saying, we want to get beyond the gold records, and people could buy the chart. The idea was you could buy the gold record with the chart, maybe have an hour with me, and on and on. This other guy wanted to do more of the brand of Kenny Aronoff and sell the stories. They wanted the rock and roll stories. He was holding up my book and said, I want the stories that aren't in this book, that people could buy that, that type of thing. And so I was fascinated, but nothing ever really went to the end. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know how that's going to play out.
Yeah. I mean, just the things that are happening now. I mean, the whole used to be there were 6 guys that decided who gets out, what music gets out in the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
The heads of the major labels, and then just
Money.
recently, and now, a couple of years ago, you had Lil Nas X makes the longest running #1 song on the Billboard charts in the history of the Billboard charts from his grandmother's closet.
Okay, now let's check this out.
Okay.
So Taylor Swift. Okay, in my world, when let's say Jack and Diane, which I did with Mellencamp. Okay, let's back up one. The first single on American Fool was "Hurt So Good." It went to #2. #1 was "Eye of the Tiger." But think about it. Rocky 1 had just come out.
Mm-hmm.
So now you got the marketing of the song and the movie. Okay, so I went up to a record label guy a couple years ago and went, hey, listen, could John Mellencamp's people, because you have to pay to get on the radio. I mean, how is a new artist going to compete with Elton John, Springsteen, Tom Petty? I'm just thinking of the bands that were big back then. Well, you're going to have to pay. There's only 24 hours a day to play a song. And so you have to pay. So, all right. So I said to this record producer, this is a great story. I said, or a record A&R person, I said, could John Mellencamp, Polygram Records, could they have paid to get that song from #2 to #1? Of course. So I said, yeah, that would have been the case, except the Scotti brothers were behind Eye of the Tiger. And the Scotti brothers were the mafia. So they went, forget about it. And so then they released Jack and Diane, and it goes to #1. And so I don't know what kind of money was there, but that particular situation was, the old school model was, you'd have album-oriented radio stations, and that is the radio station would play every song on an album. And then people would phone in and go, I like that one. I like that one. And they'd get the stats. They go, okay, this is what people like. And that would then shift to the singles radio, the top 40 radio stations. And of course, the best time, what do you think the best time where you have the biggest audience? What 2 times during the day, when is the biggest audience listening to radio?
7 a.m. and 4 p.m.
5 p.m.
Exactly. Driving to work, driving home. And so that's where you get the big companies like Pepsi, Coca-Cola, putting their money in. So, okay, so that was, everybody was going to the radio, and that was a big thing. That has changed tremendously. So check this out. Taylor Swift just had a record release. She had the top 10 slots, all of them. And she had the top 13 slots out of the top 15 slots on the Billboard charts, which shows, sales. All right. So the first thing I thought, wow, that's unprecedented. Nobody's ever done that. Not the Beatles, not Creedence Clearwater, not the Stones.
Drake had nothing at one point. Yeah.
But it's a different market now.
Yeah.
So how did she do that? It's a different system now. I don't know the actual details, but they're 2 different systems. It used to be people were calling in, people were buying records. Now, how did she get the top 10? Maybe
she's got reach. She's got a direct connection to all of her fans at any time. That's the thing, is like they don't have to wait to accidentally hear on the radio that, hey, Taylor Swift's got a new album out. She's telling them all the way along the way, I'm working on my new album. It's almost ready. We're going to drop on next Tuesday. It's Sunday. We're going to drop on Tuesday. We're going to drop. And then she drops, and it breaks the internet.
Yeah. And their social media marketing strategy is off the hook, I hear. So they came in and just steamrolled everybody.
The lesson in that, Kenny, is that the audience is everything. is reach. I was looking, we've been talking about this formula that I've been calling the VCR formula: vision plus capability multiplied by reach. And what Taylor had, there's lots of people who are talented and can do the work, but don't have the reach to get to people. There may be better singers technically than Taylor, but she's got the vision, she's got the capability, and it multiplies by reach. And that's where, if you're going to focus on anything in any business, focusing on reach or access to reach is the big thing. That's where you look at the only people who had reach in the 60s. When you look at it, the radio stations had the reach. If you were in there, that's why payola even got started, right? It was because that you knew that that's the pathway to selling records. Is they hear it on the radio, they run to the store to buy the album. So that's the only way. You're not able to seek it out or access it in any way. We're in a whole different world now, where we have every song ever recorded in the history of the earth available instantly on any device, summoned by your voice. I mean, what world are we in when you could just say, Siri, play Jack and Diane?
Yeah.
And it'll start playing. I mean, that's yeah.
Well, it's heavy. If you have your iPhone next to Alexa, it's like you can hear Jack and Diane everywhere.
That's so bad.
But it's the same thing, though, right? It's all still reach. It was reach with radio. Now it's reach with. It's always reach.
Yeah.
The interesting about them, nowadays is that the good news is that anybody can get their music out there.
Yes.
Whatever they're trying to promote.
That's the point.
That's the point. But what gets complicated is that now you're competing with the entire globe.
And that's the Little Nas X story. And all of this, if it seems like we're just talking about music, we're not talking about music. I'm talking about everything. And how Little Nas X became the #1 song was they started out, he was pushing it through TikTok, getting it out by memes and getting everything out there. They got on the country music chart on Billboard. And Billboard said, hang on now, that's not country music. And they took him off that. And he tweeted out, somebody get me Billy Ray Cyrus. And it was like, because what's more country than Billy Ray Cyrus? So Billy Ray got involved, did a verse, and the rest is history. Because that reach from all the controversy around that, but anybody can do it now. That's
And the controversy actually helped them.
Mm-hmm. That's the good news for musicians, is we're really
check this out.
Meritocracy.
So at the end of my hallway, I have a studio, and I have a couple of rooms, control room, drum room. But the end of the hallway is a bunch of young kids, and this kid, it's two guys in the band. One guy plays all the instruments, and the other guy sings.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so when they go on tour, they have backing tracks. They have all this technology.
Mm-hmm.
So, and maybe they add one other musician. They just signed a record deal, or they're about to sign a record deal, 80-20. Now, the old business model would be, if it was 85-15 or 80-20, 85-15 was more popular. It was 85 to the label, 15 to the artist. Now, this guy's signed, they're getting a deal was 80 to the artist, 20 to the label. And here's why. Or maybe it's going to be, something like that. Here's why. Because those guys had to pay for all the recording themselves.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, just like any business, takes money to make a business develop and grow. It takes money to get the band in the studio. It takes money to pay them so they can write songs, arrange, and then it takes money to get management and marketing. It takes money to get them on the road. It takes money to promote. It takes money to get on the radio. It takes money for wardrobe. It takes money, and eventually
money.
Yeah, money. Yeah. So and they thank you. Hey, by the way, we rehearsed this. But these kids, the new business model, this is get into publishing. The new business model is that you have to kind of do it on your own. But because you do it on your own, you kind of get a better deal. Now, where the labels, what they want and what everybody wants is the publishing. And the publishing, by the way, there's the writer. If you look at a pie, publishing is half the pie, writer's share is the other side. Legally, nobody can take the writer's share unless you're willing to give it to somebody. So when you hear of a artist that lost all their publishing, they only lost half the pie. Okay.
Yeah.
But now some artists like John Fogerty, who I worked for almost 30 years, he got so frustrated with his manager when he was the brain songwriter of Creedence Clearwater. He went, God damn it, I got to get out of this deal. Just take my publishing. And the guy went, sure, or my writers, sure. He gave up that. That's
Wow.
suicide. You don't ever give that up. So what's happened now is because these kids made their own record, and they told the label when they were making deals that they wanted, to keep their publishing, and the label gave it to them.
Mm.
That
so they
is
have the publishing and the masters and
yeah, and they've got the 80%. Now, it's almost like, so what's the label getting out of it? Well, I mean, the thing is, they obviously want to be on top of the latest, greatest, best thing, and that deal, by the way, they're not going to give to everybody. But they believe that this is going to work for them. I mean, and the lead singer, by the way, is doing 5 social media posts every day. That's all he did. 5, dark and vibey, and the engagement is so heavy, and it worked for them because they got, I don't know if it's 2-3 million followers. So the label's going like, yeah, and so they'll make some money with these guys, and they even offered them $1 million advance, and these kids were brilliant and said, no, just give us 100,000, because any advance you pay back,
right.
Yeah. So they said, well, don't just give us 100,000. As a matter of fact, use 500,000 on marketing us. That's a way better way to use their money they're going to have to pay back is on marketing. Don't give us the money we buy a bunch of cars and houses or whatever. No, take our money and then put it into marketing to make us even more money.
Yes, that's exactly
It was brilliant, man. These kids they're figuring it out.
God bless America. What a country.
Well, there you go. So what is the lesson here on all this conversation? I posted in the chat.
Yeah.
I wrote vision plus capability times reach. How does what Kenny is saying apply to, I think I had a typo, apply to this? Explain it, Dean. How's this apply to everyone?
So, this is perfect. If you've got in some cases, like what a label now can provide for people is distribution and the technical, managing all the logistics of distributing physical music, even though that's a minority of what's happening now. It's all on the streaming. That's how Spotify becomes so valuable, because they've got reach to, 500 or 600 million daily users, and that's anybody can get up on Spotify there. But you look at those things, and it's really you're either on the vision side where you've got you can create an idea for something that you want, not just in music, but in in anything. We looked at 3 years ago, we talked about Kylie Jenner becoming a billionaire using that same model. She had a vision that she wanted to create lip kits and cosmetics. The capability is the most crucial part of that, is being able to make the stuff, but she didn't have to do it herself. She partnered with Seed Labs to make it and do all of the administration and technical stuff. And then she's got the reach of 150 or 200 million now social media followers. So all she has to do is, I want to do this. Who's going to help me with this part of it, the capability? And then I'll just tell the internet that I've got these lip kits, and it's instantly, she's a billionaire. Yeah. And it works that same way with so many things. Mr. Beast, you see what's happening there. Mr. Beast has 1,600 Mr. Beast burger restaurants that are on Grubhub, Uber Eats, only available on delivery apps using excess capacity in other people's kitchens. He's never even opened he's got one now, sorry, a physical location in New Jersey in a mall that's, doing $30,000 a day in sales. But these 1,600 restaurants, he doesn't have a single restaurant. All he had was the vision. Here's what the Mr. Beast menu is. Here's what the Mr. Beast burger is. It's like the intellectual property, the publishing of this burger menu. Yeah. And it's really amazing because I had a client that I got onto the Mr. Beast platform. They own grocery stores and they had kitchens where they do prepared food. So they became a Mr. Beast outlet in their market. And he was showing me how they do it. You have to stock. There's 23 SKUs that you have to stock if you go, if you're going to be a Mr. Beast provider. And they get them all from the same food suppliers that you're buying all the stuff from anyway. So you just stock these items. They send you the equivalent of what look like little iPhone videos that show you how to make the menu items. Here's how the Mr. Beast, here's the recipe for the Mr. Beast burger. They show you how it's made and then how to package it. They've got all the logo and the packaging for everything. And your training program is watch these videos, make the menu, send us a picture of the completed item to knock it off that shows that you're able to do this on the thing. And then they turn on the stream and people order because he's got the reach for this. He's got the reach to get to his 120 million subscribers. He's got the equivalent of a Super Bowl commercial every time he puts out a video. And everybody knows about Mr. Beast Burger. They go on Grubhub, they order up their Mr. Beast Burger. The restaurant, they prepare it, put it in a bag, put it by the back door. Somebody else comes and picks it up. And Mr. Beast Burger is one of the most successful restaurants in the country today because of that. And so this world of collaboration where we've got, you either got vision or you've got, capabilities, and it's matching your capabilities with a better vision, maybe, or you've got excess capacity in something. It's a neat opportunity. This is why even in old days, you see a lot of artists have their own labels that are underneath deal of their master thing. Along with my deal, I get a label so I can sign artists. Exactly. And that becomes, now they've got the capability to bring another artist that they see. They've got the vision to see that this, they've got like the trickle down thing. Dr. Dre signed Eminem, signed 50 Cent, signed G-Unit, it goes all the way down, that this whole thing is building on this core capability of having a label that can put things out.
Absolutely. That's what it was like. A Polygram had Mercury had Riva. John Mellencamp was signed to Riva. John Mellencamp's manager created Riva. He managed also Rod Stewart. So the imprint was Riva under Mercury, which was the division of Polygram. And then under Polygram, eventually it was Island Records and this and that. It was this umbrella of 20 labels.
Yeah.
So, it's absolutely, that's how it worked. And you know what? And that's good though, because it makes the smaller label fight harder, because the big company may not be able to fight as hard everywhere. So they let these people go out and fight, and they're under their umbrella. Mm-hmm. Sorry, Joe.
No. It's totally okay. So, Dean, look at the chat.
Look at the chat. Okay,
let's see the question where it says, "How could you apply?" Lane from how could you apply this to the coaching industry?
Okay, perfect.
The surplus idea.
So that's great. So part of it is you look at it that if you've got a protocol, let's say that if you're a coach, you look at the capability that you have, and this is the same for anything that you do in your business. You've got a method, you've got a technique, you've got a I call it the algorithm. You've got something that you can predict or create a predictable result for somebody. Let's say that you've got a way to coach somebody through the process of doing anything. It could be anything, losing weight, of getting leads on Facebook, creating a YouTube channel, all of those, whatever it is. Once you've got the capability to do that, you've got something that could be now scalable. If you break that out into a vision piece, a vision is like an IP, a piece of IP, a recipe, a protocol, something that you know how to do. You can then you've got an asset there that now all you need is people who are friendly and good conversationalists and can bond with people and have a desire to be a coach, that you can infuse their raw capability with your vision of telling them how to get the result for somebody. But even that's not enough. Now you need a way for them to get the result, right? I mean, to get the reach, to find people to work with. So if you are a coach that has figured out all of the pieces of that VCR formula completely, where this is what people want, this is how we get it, this is how we get the message to them, that's where you've got so much opportunity to scale. You can license your coaching system to other coaches and show them how to do it. You could be the person that creates the demand for all of these coaches. You could, if you've got a way to generate people who want to get that result that you can show them to do, and then introduce them to coaches who can do the actual work. Some of the biggest coaching companies in the world use that model, where they scale with coaches who are able to deliver the result, but somebody does all the marketing of it. Franchises are a perfect example of that too, that you're buying the operating system, if a good franchise will have the whole formula for you of how to get new clients, how to serve them, how to organize the business all around it. But just looking at your business and making a list of what your VCR assets are, right? What are the things that you know how to do? What are the things that you've figured out, what would be intellectual property? Right? What capabilities do you have? Let's say you own a printing shop and you've got printing presses that can print, postcards and newsletters or whatever it is. If you're not 100% at capacity, that excess capacity that you have is an asset that you can use to find somebody with something that would be benefited by using the printing to get out to more people. So you start thinking about your access to your own capabilities for free or at the incremental cost of what it takes to do them. Kenny mentioned, free is the most powerful word, and it's absolutely true. Like another promotion we've just doing with Luba is she's got all these facial machines and all the things. She's got the capability to serve 10 people a day, 7 days a week to do, if you just line them up in the chair. She's got the capacity to do 7 times 3 chairs. 210 people could come and get 50-minute facials in a 7-day week. That's the inventory or the capacity that she has. The machines are there, whether they're doing those, all of those slots are filled. It's kind of like a hotel. If you've got 200 hotel rooms and you've only sold 100 of them, tomorrow that was perishable, right? It doesn't, you get no value from it. So what's the incremental cost to give somebody an experience of one of these facials? They're amazing. And some of them have like their standard facial, it may cost her $20 to give somebody a facial that costs $150. So to offer somebody a free facial as an opportunity to get somebody to know them, to come into the studio, to have an experience at the studio, to see what a jewel box she's created there, to get to know the people, to get, while you've got a captive audience, somebody's there getting the facial to educate them about all the different facials that are available. And then know that it's not a one-off thing. It's not something that somebody's going to come one time and then they're done forever. You know, she's got a membership program that people can sign up to come every month for facials, or do a series of facials with the microneedling or the Hydra facials or HIFU facials. And probably you don't know what any of that means. I didn't either. But to educate somebody about what they do is it's a great audience. And for only $20, I would say sometimes it's less expensive to get somebody a result than it is to convince them to give you money to get that result. It's less expensive to give somebody a facial, to get them in, have that experience of it, and know that they're going to, at a larger rate, continue on and get more facials.
Well, you know what, Dean, let me say that to go back to what Kenny said earlier. I made more money before I ever started teaching marketing to anybody.
Yeah.
This is what actually showed me I could actually teach marketing to people, is back in 1992 when so we're talking 30 years ago, right?
Yes.
And where I was giving away more than 30 years ago, because I started doing this in around probably March of 1992. And I started giving away a free room of carpet cleaning. And I made more money giving away a free room of carpet cleaning than I ever did price discounting my services. And then you translate that into, 6 years after that, where I had sold probably, 5,000 cleaning and restoration companies all over the world, a marketing course. And then, a few years later, over 12,000 cleaning and restoration companies, and generated, a couple of $1 billion in revenue had been generated from my ads and campaigns and promotions. And the number one offer was a free room of carpet cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
And with no cost or obligation of any kind. And once we were there, we would do a carpet audit where we would, change instead of doing a quote or an estimate. Now, that being said, for everyone here, and this is an exercise that I'm going to work on, and I'd like everyone to write this down. Those of you that have been following I Love Marketing for a while, and it's now been 12 years that me and Dean have been doing the I Love Marketing podcast. So we've had hundreds of episodes. Yeah, it's a long time. Dean has this great line where he says, and write this down if you haven't heard it before, and if you have, this is a reminder. A compelling offer is 10 times more powerful than a convincing argument. A compelling offer is 10 times more powerful than a convincing argument. Because when I sit and read some of the chat messages here, which are really good, how do you apply to the HVAC world? Nobody gives a shit until their furnace or AC doesn't work, from Michael. And then Eve said, Michael, I think I'm saying it right, Michael, hopefully. They care about their energy bill, the noise, clean air, humidity to keep down sickness. How can you be an expert solving for a different problem one they hadn't thought of yet? Well, whatever anyone has, however you bond or connect or promote or market to your existing clients, so whatever market you target, whoever is referring you, if you're getting any referrals at all, the one thing that will help all of that is a compelling offer. And so, Dean, what would be an exercise that you could suggest to everyone here so that they can go into 2023 with not only more clarity, even using AI to help you, wordsmith different compelling offers would be a good exercise. But how would you recommend because if just listening to this live that we're doing right now, if you just improved the power of your offer and who you target it to, like the offer in the list would make a world of difference in many people's businesses. And it could be the difference between a successful business and an unsuccessful business is just getting those two things down. And I'm going to make a recommendation, everyone, for how to plan out 2023 in the best of ways as it relates to marketing. But speak to that if you could, Dean.
Well, I love the idea. So if you've got something that is that's repeating, that somebody's going to buy your good or service multiple times throughout a year and into, so they're going to buy it on a recurring basis. If you're trying to attract a customer, there's nothing better than having somebody have the first experience of it for free. That's the fastest way to get somebody to try something. It's the most compelling, rather than giving somebody a discount on something where they still have to buy. So I would look at, how can you offer free as a initial opportunity? Now, even if it's something that you can't, if it's a one-time or big ticket thing and there's no way to like give somebody an experience of something, adding free information into something is a great way. The only things that we have to look at are what's the problem that we're trying to solve. And the basic problems are we're trying to get a lead, turn an invisible prospect into a visible prospect, or we're trying to educate and motivate and make offers to the leads that we've generated so that we get a client. We're trying to generate leads, convert those leads into clients. We're trying to serve our clients and multiply what happens when we're doing this, giving your clients an opportunity to refer, or to introduce new people where they get a benefit to do things, so often when you give your clients an opportunity to be a hero, they will multiply themselves. A couple of examples. If you offer, so we did this with the Mosquito Authority. I did a lot of work with them, mosquito control. And one of the things that we did was offer what we called golden tickets, where we would, if you come on as a new client, then we would welcome you and we'd send you a note and include 3 golden tickets in the envelope that would say, let's see, Michael Fishman there. I'd say, hey, Michael, now that you've gotten a taste of mosquito-free living, you don't want to be without it. We've spoiled you, but it's okay. We've got you covered. Here are 3 golden tickets to give to, or 3 free treatments to give to anybody wherever you go so that everybody can be mosquito-free. Knowing that once you have an experience of a mosquito-free backyard, it's a wonderful thing. And if you know now that you've got to go to your brother-in-law's house next weekend and they live in a wooded area and they're going to get eaten alive by mosquitoes at the barbecue, you've got the opportunity to be a hero to the brother-in-law by giving him a free certificate for a free mosquito treatment. So easy to recommend. And I tell people that give a friend is far more compelling than refer a friend. When you give somebody the opportunity to give something to a friend, that's why if you've got a gym, you give people passes to bring people in to the gym for the first time, or to your studio, or whatever it is. You give them that opportunity. If you've got an HVAC company and you have a platinum level service, a membership service where you get all these benefits of no service charges and 10% off and all these things, if you allow people with that level of service to extend that level of service to their inner circle, because somebody said in the chat, nobody cares about their air conditioning or their things until there's a breakdown or something. That's exactly when it would be beneficial if your platinum members, the ones who value the ongoing service of that, if part of their service was they get to, in a moment of need, give somebody the benefits of their platinum service, so that their sister calls and is complaining, oh, our air conditioner is broken. Then they can say, oh, I got you. I'll call Mike and they'll come right over and fix that. Now she looks like a hero, right? She looks like a hero because she gets to be a big shot. She's like over there at Acme HVAC, that HVAC, that she just snaps her fingers and things happen. People come running. And that's where we look at all of these opportunities. You have to give people the first experience of something. Free is the most compelling way to draw them like flies to honey. You know,
There you go.
bees to honey.
By the way, I'm going to post again in the chat here something that's going to sound absolutely ridiculous. I'm not going to reveal it, but until you get this in the mail, if you order it quickly enough, this is the only place you can get these right now. It just came out. It's a book called Everything Men Know About Vaginas. It is written by the top vaginal plastic surgeon in Arizona, who's Dr. Cherie Ong. And I swear to God, men and women will love this, but just order some copies. I just put the link in there, which is the title of it, called Everything Men Know About Vaginas. And then we're going to do a future I Love Marketing discussion on this because it's very instructional as a lead generator and stuff. And buy like 10 copies or so and just give them away for the holidays. You will, because there's only she just got the first amount in. So if a few people, hopefully you may not get it before Christmas, depending on the orders, but it'll come in soon. But just check it out. And go look at the website. It is a work in progress, but it's really awesome and really funny. And and we have a couple of do you realize that Richard Vigory is on right now?
Wow, my favorite.
Is Richard?
Where is he?
Richard is literally, I don't know if he's able to jump on, but Richard, man, how old's Richard now? Like 83, something like that. But Richard,
I can't tell you how many times this is one of my favorite deep track I Love Marketing episodes, is the Richard Vigory episode. I tell people to go to that one probably more than any other.
Yeah, I mean, he is a true marketing legend and just such a brilliant guy. So Richard, at any point in time, you're welcome to jump on. Mike Koenigs, who we've had on I Love Marketing. Where the hell's Mike at? Where you at, Mike?
Hey, brother, how you doing, man? Good to see you.
Did you just hear the whole section about offers and everything? You can totally speak.
I just caught the last part, but what I heard was awesome. And I was just on with Dean. I signed up to spend a whole year with him too. So he's been my secret weapon in the background. I always love every idea he comes up with.
No, so what are you up to? What's new with you? What are you doing? What's the newest thing with you?
Well, I've been doing quarterly books following Dan Sullivan's lead. So I released one. I got another one coming out in 2 weeks, and then playing with Chat GPT. So if you haven't been using Chat GPT, it's a great tool. It's free for now, and you can feed it some inputs, and it'll write email copy, letters, bios. If you want to prepare and do podcast interviews, for example, it'll come up with 10 podcast question ideas on the fly. I'm happy to show it off too, but it's a remarkable tool and a great way to augment what you're doing and get past the first draft, which is always the hardest thing for anyone who needs to write copy. So it's really, really cool. And we used it last week. It saved us 3 weeks of work in 3 hours. So we actually created a whole brand from scratch. So it's remarkable. It's easy to play with, and you just type in commands. It could be something like, as an example, this is a goofy one, but you can say, write a sitcom based on the Seinfeld show with 3 characters, Elon Musk, Jerry Seinfeld, and Homer Simpson, about cars and picnics. And it'll write a whole show for you. Crazy stuff like that. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, you know what? So, Mike, I'm going to read something real quick just because it's just something to think about. Now, part 2 of this is going to be the positive aspect of that. And based on what you said, Robin Farmian, before you were on, I was saying we need to do a episode just on AI and different things. Like, for instance, I have a AI newsletter that I'm doing with FutureScope. But let me read this because it says something to think about, and I'm going to post this on Twitter. And I'd love to have people comment on this and just kind of see where it goes, because I'm doing a bit of user-generated perspective. But here's, it'll take me probably, I don't know, 90 seconds or 2 minutes to read this. But I sent this out on, when did I send this out? This went out on 11 days ago, when all this started happening. So, hi, Mike, who it was personalized to our list. You've probably seen the rise of Chat GPT, Midjourney, and other accessible AI scripts that are now being made available for use. Here's what no one is talking about as it relates to all this. One of the biggest dangers here is we're going to rewrite and rewire dopamine. There's an author named Anna Lemke, who is a professor of psychiatry at Stanford University School of Medicine and chief of the Stanford Addiction Medicine Dual Diagnostic Clinic. Anna wrote a book called Dopamine Nation, which I highly recommend all of you read. And I'd highly recommend you read it, since it's an amazing book on dopamine, addiction, and more. It's a book that explains not just the biochemistry of addiction, but the biochemistry of losing control. In fact, I was messaging with Anna, and she said something really interesting on this whole topic. She said, what we need is a nuanced discussion around how the very same technology that can revolutionize our lives for the better also has a dark side. In contemplating the AI of the near future, I like to ponder what AI will never do as well as humans. Love, hug, feel shame, apologize and mean it, grow a garden and smell the flowers, kick a soccer ball with the grace and majesty of a World Cup player, and so on. I'm starting to realize my vision is like just not as good as it used to be. I'm sitting here reading from another screen here and squinting. As we begin to appreciate what human activities AI will replace and those it won't, we'll be better able to think through the human workforce of the future and how to guide the next generation. When you start feeding the dopamine machine so that people want everything instantaneously, who's going to take time to be patient for anything? Patience is going to go out the window. Bottom line, humans are not built for this. We have not evolved quickly enough to know how to handle this, and there's going to be a complete overload of the nervous system. That's what my book, What's in It for Them, speaks to the need of human connection. There's a lot of abilities for the advances in technology to disconnect people, and being a real person is more important now than ever before. AI is going to completely reorient and reorganize the entire workforce. We now have computer programs that can do the creative work people once did. What other businesses are going to be decimated? You think AI writing a computer script or an article for you is crazy? What if you need to figure out a holiday gift for someone and you have bits of little information on them and you feed that into an AI? All of a sudden, the AI is compiling the perfect way to impress somebody. My friend Akara Chan said something profound in an audio message to me. He said, I think we're going to see an even bigger epidemic of people who are really disconnected and begin to really disassociate with themselves because of how convincing and useful AI is going to become. If you can tell an AI to write a brilliant love letter to a person you're dating, or a marriage proposal, or write an essay for you, on top of using AI to make yourself look like a superhero and look 10 years younger, that becomes an extreme addiction. Think of that, AI writing the perfect love letter and fashioning for you the perfect visual avatar. Who is ever going to be real anymore? Where is the authenticity going to come from? When people know the things they wrote weren't really written by them, no one feels authentic anymore. People talk about deep fakes. You want to know what a real deep fake is? When everyone knows they are fake, when everything is fake. What will people crave? You're about to see a mass level of inability of people to function with other human beings. What's going to happen in the next year is going to be insane. The plumber may end up becoming more valuable than the presidential scriptwriter. Feed the political issues that need to be addressed into an AI, appease the masses, but AI isn't fixing toilets yet. Having said that, there are really good things that can, of course, be done with AI. For example, there's an AI newsletter I'm currently testing called FutureScope that curates material together to create the Connection Insider newsletter. We're using AI to find articles and share things with people, and people seem to like it. That's a useful use of AI for sharing things and connecting. You can sign up for the newsletter here, and then I put a link. There is a sanity solution for all of this, and I'll talk about it in part 2, Best Joe, and then PS. Sorry, this took more than 2 minutes. P.S. I'll leave you. I didn't think it would take this long. I'll leave you with something Brett Weinstein recently said on his Dark Horse podcast. It really points to something unique about the human experience, something to think about. Even if the textual analysis was completely compelling and was as good or better than what you get from the best humans, a human being would do it with the use of consciousness. What if you could simulate that with computing power? In other words, if the way it was done was radically different, that it would come up with an answer that you would take to be meaningful because it was, but that it didn't have an experience of creating an answer. It didn't know it came up with an answer. Is it human? Nope, because no matter how well it simulates a human, it isn't one. Now, the reason I said that is because I shared that is I really think there's going to be such a dark side to this. Now, the flip side is what you can do if you are a strategic human, what you can do if you really care about your clients, what you can do if you can utilize AI to make so many things that were so difficult to do. I mean, there are, low-level copywriters and interns and various people that you could hire that instantaneously this makes them a commodity and totally obsolete. And there are things that you can do instantaneously. And this is just shit that's happened in the last 4 weeks. Imagine 6 months from now, imagine a year from now. And so what is definitely everyone should look at playing with this. And I also believe that the craving of human connection and a real person is going to become that much more valuable. The right sort of communities, is incredible. And so that's something that I would definitely like to speak to, because part 2 of what I'm going to write about are all the cool things that one can do and how this will save time and will create innovations in ways that have never been available so quickly. But Mike, do you have anything to share with that? And then if you do have a new book coming out, then go ahead and plug your book.
Thanks. Appreciate that. Okay. So, I have a 20-year-old son who is terrified of all of these things. And there's articles popping up of people who are writing, their school papers using this technology right now. And earlier this week, I did a podcast episode with Dan that'll be coming out on our show, which is Capability Amplifier, about this. And what Dan said is it's going to make stupid people stupider. Because if you think about it, if you're immersing yourself constantly in high dopamine social media activities, and you see so many people, they're just flipping through TikTok. Yes, that's going to happen. But for smart people who say this is an opportunity to be augmented, to make me 3, 10, even 100 times more effective, you can create concepts, ideas, copy, messages faster than it would take to assign a task to one of your support people. Like if you have a copywriter or you have writers on your team, you can come up with very good ideas super quickly. And again, in our case, 3 hours, we got 3 weeks worth of work done. And, this isn't about these things replacing people, because it's not as creative. But what Dan said that I totally agree with is the hardest thing you'll ever do is come up with a first draft. And you'll look at your first draft and say, this sucks. This is terrible. And then our brains are designed to say, how can we make this better? It's a better way. And you're going to add the nuance. You're going to add the personality. You're going to add the personalization. And I, just as a gift, it was my wife's birthday. And I said, write a poem. And I fed in some details. Vivian and I met in Greece 24 years ago. A year later, I proposed on my knee on the Eiffel Tower. We have a 20-year-old son named Zach. And, every year that I grow with her, I love her even more. Turn this into a song in the voice of Bono from U2. Boom. And then I said, write a poem in the voice of Keats. Okay. And it wrote some remarkable stuff. And where it wasn't quite right, I said, modify this and change this, because it had a couple of the facts wrong. It rewrote it. And then I said, now write 3 variations. And I took that and I made a couple small tweaks. And that's what I read to her for her birthday, along with a little handmade gift I got for her. And she said it was the best birthday she's ever had and the most thoughtful gift ever. And that normally, when I've done that, would take 6 hours of work. And I did that in 20 minutes, and it was still from me and still personal. So does that take away from the humanity? Does that take away from the connection? And I would say no. It made me a better husband, a better partner. And it also opened up some possibilities that I wouldn't have seen myself without that help. So it was like having a best friend writing a remarkable thing for someone I care about. Is that
Yeah,
bad?
you know what, Mike, as I think about this, because like, for instance, I have a VR company that I'm a co-founder of. And we, when we first founded the company, we said, look, there's going to be a lot of people utilizing VR and AR, and it is definitely the future.
Yep.
And there's millions of headsets sold. And how do we produce content that actually expands people? We don't want people to live in a VR world, right? And we also, what I've learned from addiction, Adam Ghazali back in 2014 was putting headsets on homeless people and measuring their stress levels, and it was dramatically reducing stress levels because you can create an immersive environment. So it's really what happens and what people are witnessing and how they're interacting with it. And frankly, I mean, I think most tech today, with all of the human advancements that it does, and of course, this is completely in a certain context, from a mental health perspective, has done way more damage to human happiness in human beings. I mean, considering the number 2 cause of death for young people is suicide. And social media, I mean, there's a lot of the use of tech that is a constant dopamine cash register. And then you add AI into the mix. There's definitely, there's definitely dark sides to all of this. It's that whole thing. If you invent a plane, you invent a plane crash, right?
Yeah, right.
And so, there's going to be a lot of crashes to these innovations and stuff. But the key is, how do you interact with it? How do you utilize it versus being used by it? And, what are you actually doing with it? So everyone thinks they're right. That's one thing I write about this even in my book. Everyone thinks they're right, including me. And it takes a lot of awareness when I'm like, where am I wrong? Where am I full of shit? What's really useful? But I'll tell you, I mean, just like Ori, who's an artist, what did he write? Let me go back to what he wrote here. He's like, I'm doing work that would take 6 months in about 2 to 3 days now. So certainly, it would be silly to say that you cannot leverage this. Ray Kurzweil first started calling technology a brain extender, like a phone is a brain extender. Well, it could also be, it could be a way to imprison yourself. It could be a way to keep yourself depressed. I mean, one of the things we're doing with BJ Fogg at Stanford is through Genius Recovery, we're funding a 3-year research study on connection and addiction, because Stanford students, depression, lots of drinking, lots of loneliness, but translate that to every student, translate that to young people all over the world. So we're trying to figure out, how to best, identify things that help connect people. If what you're doing, is expanding people and is expanding you, then go for it. But just be very careful to what this does to the biochemistry of the brain and with dopamine when you start playing around with it, because there's a lot of playing with fire. And by all means, I'm no expert on this. I'm just a human that is trying to figure this stuff out like anyone else, but it's definitely worth looking at and talking about. And I think we should share with everyone through I Love Marketing how we can apply this to leverage what everyone is joining us for, to figure out how to connect with people and how to do it in ways. And so, yeah, I love the ability to connect with people. I just also know it's going to really disconnect people from themselves in a lot of ways if they get sucked into it. So anyway, that's my tangent.
I love it.
Mike, your book, tell us about your book. And then,
Okay. Sure. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Okay. So the name of the book is Your Next Act, and everyone here can have it for free. That's the first thing. So I just dropped a link in where you can just go and grab it. And if you want me to mail you a copy, I'll do that also as a gift. So just send your address. I'm happy to do it. So here's what it's about. The subtitle is Creating a Business You'll Love for the Rest of Your Life. So after the past 5 years, what I've been doing is working with founders to help them create bigger offers and reach more people, and also create a strong personal brand So this is the result of working with about 100 people. So it's everything I've learned. It's short. It's less than 100 pages. And I think it's a good piece of work. And so far, people are liking it. And my goal is to get 1,000 people to read it. It's not important that I sell that many copies, but if you feel like grabbing a copy on Amazon for 99 cents and leaving a review, I'd appreciate that too. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you. Yeah. And by the way, if you go and give that goofball a review only after you've read his book, then review my book only if you've read my book. Like what's cool about what I did for, and I'm trying to change this in the marketing world. So I've got my book here, not that I need to hold it up considering I have this obnoxious, yellow background where there's a QR code, which Lauren on my team actually did this, which was great. When I'm doing podcasts now, people are like, oh my God, I love your background. I'm going to do the same thing. One of the things I did with my book is I asked everyone that had gotten a early version of it, Genius Network members and, well-known people and people that I, respected and would like to have their endorsement. I said, do not give me a testimonial for the book unless you've read the entire book and you like it. And that's one of the things I want to encourage people to quit doing that are book authors is getting quotes from famous people saying how great the book is that have not read the book, because that's bullshit. I mean, you're literally lying. And so if someone wants to get a character reference or someone wants to speak to your process that you're writing a book about, that I'm not saying that's bad. It's different though than like, I think this is the greatest book I've ever read, and they've never read the damn book. So I even had a couple of very famous people say, write up blurbs for me and pick the one you want. And I'm like, nope, can't do it unless you read the whole book and you write it yourself. And so I've got some great endorsements. And if anyone wants to hear me speak for, the entire book, I read the book myself because I like it when authors read their own book, and it's available on Audible. But I would appreciate that also. And I know a lot of people here have already gotten my book. So thank you very much. Dean, because I was talking about it, Mike Dudley, can you talk about Genius X and tell people about the Retreat app? Because I think what we're doing in VR and using tech is extraordinary. And also, I own Cleator, Arizona, which is a 40-acre ghost town in Arizona. Some of you may not know that, but I bought with Jason Campbell, Mike Leone, and Ben Hootie. We bought a 40-acre ghost town. We also have the Cleator Bar and Yacht Club that happens to be there, which is pretty funny. That's being run by people that were there before we bought the ghost town. And we're going to do our first art show. Momo, who's actually with us right now, we're organizing a group of artists. We're going to have like a little mini Burning Man on March 3rd. And then February 4th, we may take, if we can organize it quickly enough, a bunch of students from Grand Canyon University. And we're going to make this a project to make Cleator, Arizona, the most famous little ghost town in Arizona. So we're the first ghost town in virtual reality. Even if you don't have an Oculus, any headset, you can go on YouTube and watch a 3-minute video of Cleator and me and Jason Campbell doing a little tour around Cleator, Arizona, which is pretty cool. But Mike is with Retreat. That's the name of the app. And so tell people how to go test it and check it out. And because it's really cool.
Yeah, and I think so. A couple of things. Obviously, I've been listening to a lot of really, really good comment. By the way, if you've been filling out your Dean Jackson bingo card, mine got full with Lil Nas X, Dermaplaning, G Unit, and Mr. Beast. So thanks, Dean Jackson. I didn't think you'd say any of those comments on this call, but it's funny thing about connection and technology, and I think that we have historically been really concerned about new advances in technology and the negative effects that they will have. We don't like computers. We didn't want our kids to be on video game consoles forever. We didn't want TVs in the classroom, and then we didn't want computers in the classroom, and then we didn't want iPads in the classroom. And yet what we've seen, the beautiful gift that technology has given us is that it has expanded our definition of connection. It hasn't contracted it. And so VR is this really interesting new foray into this generational technology that allows people to connect in ways that they just can't do over the computer, over Zoom, over staring at a screen, because there's actually a feeling of presence. And I say that to say there's a Stanford study. I chatted with VJ Fogg's partner, and he sent me this study that was really fascinating. that talked about the feeling of presence and how it allowed for a deeper learning experience and a better level of social feeling because of presence. And it was actually noticeably bigger in women. Women felt a better form of presence. We have, with Retreat, created let's just call it a soft skills learning app, but it is a health and well-being and life skills, let's even call it professional skills app, like a masterclass in VR that allows people to go in socially. So it's not an individual cover your eyes and learn experience, but in fact, you go in with other people. You actually can join with friends or meet random new people all together, and you can all take these courses together. They're course specific. So you might go in and download the app for free and decide, I want to learn how to interview for a job. I want to learn financial basics. I want to learn breath work, energetics. I want to heal through art, and a slew, nutrition, mindfulness, meditation. All of that is being built and being put into the app. And what we're seeing initially, and we just launched, we're brand new, but what we're seeing initially is this is a place for people to go who are serious in VR. A lot of VR, unfortunately, is violence and killing zombies and 13-year-olds who are humping your leg as your avatar in their social experiences. And we have found and created a place that not only has real learning and real healing that takes place, but it's also social in a grown-up way. It is VR is about to get a lot smarter because of Retreat, and I'm really excited about that. You know, we are doing live events regularly. We're doing a live podcast in VR where we actually shoot content on a green screen, so you have video holograms in VR, which makes it look like somebody's actually standing there. We do that also with all of our content as well, all the coaches. So it is a objective-based learning platform that is social and interactive. And it is the first of its kind and what Meta has called a category-defining app. They're really excited to help VR grow up a little bit, and we're trying to do the same. So we're really, really excited. I think if you have a headset, check it out. It's free. Just go to Retreat or search for Retreat within the headset. But this is something that I think, you know, we've seen the data. We know that people, specifically around soft skills, people train 4 times faster in VR than e-learning. They're 275% more confident, 3.5, whatever, emotionally connected. There is no data that says that VR is bad for soft skills. That's the crazy thing about it. And that nobody has really included soft skills in their VR plans is surprising to me. There's a lot of B2B solutions, but no B2C. And we get to actually go straight to the consumer and find all these kids. You know, the tech industry dropped 50,000 jobs this last quarter. There's a lot of people hurting and a lot of people who need help. And we're about to bring a lot of help to a lot of people. So we're really excited. I think it's going to be a great success.
Awesome. Put a link for it in the chat if you could. Dean, here's something I want to do too, that I want to leave people with today. Is that, let me share the screen and see, can everyone see the breakthrough DNA?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is something that has been on ilovemarketing.com since the inception. And this is what we basically teach on I Love Marketing and have taught from the very beginning. And so you can get this for free. There's no course that at the end I'll show you. See down here, I don't think it is. Do we pitch anything? That's the very best. You can go to I Love Marketing to download every episode, blah, blah, blah. You can join. Oh, look at this, how old this is.
That's the original one. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the original report, but it's really good. And Breakthrough DNA, 8 profit activators that can trigger in your business starting right now. Okay, it goes through the before unit, the during unit, and the after unit. Many of you have read this if you've been with us for a while, but if you're not, so there's 8 profit activators. The first is in here. Let me see if I have a 1-pager of this, but I'll go through it. You know, Dean, you want to go through the 8 profit activators? You want me to?
I don't remember them.
Well, that's why we write books. You think
No,
we can
I'm
remember
teasing.
any? You think we can remember any of
this was the funny. That was the joke from the very first I Love Marketing conference. We're in the elevator, and you asked me we're on our way down to the seminar that's starting that day, and you asked me, do you know all the 8 profit activators without looking? It was so funny.
Well,
but yeah, no,
so,
I know all about them.
Well, no, well, here's what's funny. Amy Porterfield, she interviewed me for her podcast yesterday.
Mhm.
And she wanted me to go through all the different 9 genius networking principles in my book. And I'm like, I kind of have to have a cheat sheet because I can't remember them all. But I never try to hide that. I'm like, if I'm actually reading something, I'll say, let me just kind of go through this. But so the first one, though, is narrow your focus and select one target market at a time. And, this is something that every year going into a new year, it's always good to audit your business and audit what you sell and audit who your audience is, and just kind of use it as an opportunity to clean up what you need to clean up, get clarity on where you need to get clarity, drop the things that are not easy, lucrative, and fun, get rid of the things that are half, hard, annoying, lame, and frustrating. And so if you read the Breakthrough DNA report, it will help you. It is a great guide, and we give examples of selecting a single target market. And then the second one is Profit Activator 2. Use direct response offers to compel prospects to call you, and we go through that. Okay, this is a little over 30 pages. And then the third activator is patiently and systematically educate and motivate prospects to meet you when you're ready. Okay, and of course, would you like a cookie? And that'll make sense when you read this. And then number 4 is present your unique service offer in a way that makes it easy to get started. And then talk about, carpet audits and that sort of stuff. Profit Activator number 5, deliver a dream come true experience designed from your client's perspective. See, that's where what's in it for them comes in.
Mhm.
If you're focusing on what's in it for them, not what's in it for you, then you will function and think and do things in a way that really speaks to what they want. And so, we talk about the 3 types of experience someone could have. They can be an unhappy client or customer, a satisfied client or customer, or a happy client. And so in order for people to be smiling and have loyalty, which is the closest you're going to get to anything, because there's not really loyalty. You can lose that very quickly if you allow your competitors to pay more attention to someone than you do. It's the way you interact and the way you deliver things. So Profit Activator number 6 is provide after sales service even after you've already been paid. Profit Activator number 7 is nurture lifetime relationships and focus on lifetime value. And then Profit Activator number 8, the after unit, is orchestrate referrals by giving your clients the opportunity to feel great. Now, we've had people that have read this that have said this is more valuable than many $2,000 courses they've been to, the many seminars, and it's literally a report. And download it. You don't even need to buy anything. And that's anything else you want to share on that, Dean?
That's a great tool. I mean, it's the foundation of everything that we talk about on I Love Marketing. And if you want to see how the 8 profit activators are either growing or slowing your business, you can go to profitactivatorscore.com and try the Profit Activator scorecard, where you can see exactly where you stand on each of those 8 profit activators. And often people say when they go through the scorecard that it gives them immediate clarity on what the big opportunity is for them right now.
Yeah, awesome. And Gina put, after you've read it, listen to the episode, I Love Marketing episode, where the one about applying the 8 profit activators.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do this, it will be very beneficial and useful for you planning out your business. So is there anyone I did not? So is Joel Weldon and Jenny Lachlan on the line? Are you guys still with us? They were here earlier, and if they're not, that's okay. And let's see, is there anyone else I want to do a shout out to? Well, there's many, but there's not enough time. All right, we're at the hour, Dean. So,
all right,
what's the famous last words that or do we need to do a survey? Do we need to ask anybody? Yeah, here, let's do this. So who's read my book? If you've read my book, say yes, yes, yes. I want to just get to find out who's actually read my book, or say I've read it or I bought it, but I haven't read it yet. Book and Audible. Thank you. Half of it. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Both. Wow. I love this. I appreciate it. Bought it. Not read it yet. Bought it. Not read it. Okay. Great. Great. Please read it. I
Uh,
spent 2 years on this book, and there's not a single piece of knowledge, information, bought, and yeah, this is great, that I have ever put more work into than this. And I really hope it helps the givers of the world be better boundaried givers, so that you can protect yourself from takers, narcissists, sociopaths, psychopaths, all these bad players out there. And I hope that the book helps wake up some people that have been trained that the way you get what you want is to somehow be a total hustler. And I talk about there's a big difference between connecting with people and connecting, because there's connectors and then there's real connectors, and everybody wants something. But whenever you want something, make sure that your give is equal to or greater than your want. And that is what's worked well for me. And I also share a lot of cautionary tales of where I've made mistakes, how I've wasted. Chapter 2, I talk about Tammy. What you can spend is your time, attention, money, effort, and energy. And I would prefer you not be wasting your Tammy on people that are not aligned with you, that don't appreciate you, and don't respect you. And so the book is How to Win the Right Friends and Influence the Right People. And that's my book. Also, Gina, do you happen to have the video from Dave? It's like an hour. It's like a minute.
We're just gonna play it real quick.
Yeah, play this. And here's the thing. And then Gina, I know Dave recorded because he couldn't be here. He's on an airplane right now. And Dave has been running I Love Marketing meetings in Scottsdale for years now. And he's also now heading up the ELF coaching. And for anyone that wants specific help, that we have many Genius Network members that are on the line. But if Genius Network is not a fit for you, or you don't currently run $1 million plus business, and you do want our help with stuff, we do have a coaching group. And go ahead and play that real quick, Gina, and then we'll do a wrap up with famous last words for everyone.
Hey guys, Dave Strain here. I know a lot of you are already Genius Network members. Welcome. But this isn't talking to you. This is for everybody else. So I'm guessing there's a lot of you that are right where I was, where you love the free content. You love these I Love Marketing podcasts that Joe and Dean do. They're amazing. But you don't yet qualify for the Genius Network, where maybe you can't swing the 25K a year. Maybe you're not doing $1 million a year in your business, something like that. So that's where the ELF business coaching program comes in. It's kind of a peek behind the curtain. We actually use some of the tools that Joe created for the Genius Network, as well as for his 100K group. So we get a little peek behind the curtain and get to use some of the magic there. We have some amazing guests, and we dig deeper into a lot of the stuff that Joe and Dean teach here for free. And but it's just a more personalized way that we help you implement these things in your business, so you actually get results. And you turn your business from being a half business, hard, annoying, lame, and frustrating, into an ELF business, easy, lucrative, and fun. So if that sounds like something you're interested, we'd love to have you apply. You can do that at elfmembers.com. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me or the team. My email is Dave, D-A-V-E, at joepolish.com. So again, that's Dave at joepolish.com. Look forward to connecting with you guys and learning more about your businesses and your goals and aspirations. Have a great one. Bye.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks, Gina. And Gina, where do they go in order to do this if people just happen to hear the audio of this later?
Yeah, elfmember.com, elfmember.com. And or email if you have some more questions. There's all the info on the page there, and some great stories of our ELF members. And many of our ELF members do come into the Genius Network. They get to that point where they are ready to join in the Genius Network and come to the big annual event and all of that great stuff. So elfmember.com, and then also you can email Dave at joepolish.com.
Perfect. Thank you. And Gina, thank you. Thank my whole team, because they put a lot of work into this stuff, and it's awesome. And so Dean, the next I Love Marketing Live, I think we're doing it the third Wednesday of next month, which is, what date is that? Gina, do you happen to have a calendar in front of you?
Anybody want to put it in the chat who's faster than me? I don't have a calendar up yet.
No, I think we're going to do that with on the 18th. I believe it's the 18th with Nick Sonnenberg. I think we'll do it with Nick Sonnenberg. We'll decide. But Nick has he's the founder of getleverage.com, and he has a new book coming out I think in February called Come Up for Air. And we got a bunch of cool stuff lined up. So Dean,
Yes.
What have we not shared that we need to say before we wrap?
Well, I think this whole, I'm excited about this Christmas promotion, and if you still have you still got time, you do something like this by email. So I think that kind of fast acting thing could be just the ticket for you to have a Merry Christmas.
Yeah. And if anyone still needs any sort of holiday gifts for anyone, see this right here? Just get out your phone right now, order like 5,000 of those, and here, I'll type something up and I'll put it in the chat. And thank you all for the comments on my book. And if you could review it on Audible or Amazon, if you've read it and you like it, I would appreciate that. And let's take just a couple of takeaways that people got out of this. We'll open it up for everyone, and you can share what you learned. And if you prefer not saying anything, love to have you just write in the chat what the big aha or takeaway was that you got out of our conversation today. Let us know. Anyone like to share?
All I want to say is Audible's got 73 reviews for Joe's book. Let's push that over 100. This is easy, everybody. This is easy. There's 91 of us in the room. If we all just show some love right now, that'll easily go over 100 just to spread the word. Algorithm, Amazon, that stuff really helps. So I know it's pretty effortless for all of us to just do that. And same thing on the listing. I think there's like 63 reviews. Many of us have bought the book, maybe just didn't review it. So just pop it in there. Happy holidays, everybody. Cheers.
Thank you, Daniel. I really appreciate that. Thank you. What else? Anyone else like to share? Going once? Going
I will
twice?
say ChatGPT is obviously pretty amazing stuff, and the next generation of the 4 should be out here in the coming weeks, and they're looking at the amount of parameters that we'll have will be a large factor bigger than the amount of input things that got it to do what it did. It'll go from maybe 300 billion to 10 trillion perhaps. The crazy thing is we're going to run out of data to teach AI. A lot of people are saying that the whole of the world's data might only be 17 trillion inputs or something, and so it's very interesting to see where this is going to go, and we will slow down because we don't have enough information to teach these AI models, which is pretty cool.
That would be fascinating. Yeah, thanks. Thank you, Mike.
I thought about maybe the great skill of this next year is going to be learning to be an AI whisperer. That if you can learn to talk to it, seduce it the way Mike is learning to, prompt the best performance out of it, that's going to be a big thing. Maybe we should do a thing with Mike to, the art of AI whispering.
Yeah.
Happy to, and that's what Dan said too, Dean. Precisely that. It's like teaching your team, and that's right before I got on here, I had 6 team members, and that's exactly what we're doing. I'm showing them like how to ask it good questions, how to develop, and they're coming to the meeting with 6 or 8 drafts that we look at and review, and how to create the model. And there is now recipe books. So there's people who are teaching it how to write code, how to write software, and you're just going to see those capabilities expand. So I think you're dead on. I'd be happy to do it anytime. Just ask.
Yeah. No, we'll organize it with Robin and Greg Santos. You're helping to run Genius Use. So you got something going on that what are you doing? I mean, if you want to invite anyone here to it, to just, if they want to be a lab rat for part of one of your experiments, what are you doing? What do you got going on?
Yeah, well, right now, what Joe and the Genius team have me doing is interviewing the Genius elders and just really finding out just not only just their business lessons, but also lessons for life. So the biggest thing that I'm looking to do is my life changed because I had mentors in my life. My dad went to prison 4 times. Mom didn't graduate from high school. favorite uncle used to snort cocaine in a living room growing up. And just by having access to the right information, mostly access to the right people, I really want to teach other people how to do this, especially young entrepreneurs. So if you want to help contribute to the younger generation, I am specifically looking to help people who are under 30. Would love to have a conversation if you want to share any kind of life or business lessons with the youth.
Yeah, so why don't you put into the chat how someone could connect with you, and I know you're going to be doing a session that you're going to invite people to. I think it's like free, right?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, and so he's in his 20s, and we've got Genius Elders, which is everyone over the age of 70. And it's pretty awesome. And so we're just like literally taking young entrepreneurs and people that have been at it for a long time, and it's going to be pretty awesome. In Genius Network, we've got a few Genius Network members on the line. We've got Dr. Ned Hollowell coming to the January meeting. He's the top ADD, ADHD psychiatrist in the world. We have Stephen Kotler coming to the February meeting. He is literally one of the world's leading experts on flow, and he's got a really killer book that I'm in the middle of reading that comes out in February called NAR Country, as in gnarly, GNAR. And we're going to really focus on health, wealth, and ELF, which is mental and physical health, which is the most important thing. I mean, money's great. I love money. I'll never poo-poo money. And I have a lot of billionaires that if they ever lost their health, they would give every penny they own to have it back. So as you go into the new year and you go into the holidays, I'm really looking forward to taking some downtime. There's a ton of suffering in the world, so I also have enormous gratitude for the fact that I have a great business, lots of friends, lots of relationships, lots of awesome people around me. So go into the New Year's really looking at yourself as the $1 million racehorse. Take care of yourself. That's how you'll win the right races. And really, as you think of going into next year, also look at what are the people, projects, and things that you need to drop that drag you down, that are costing you health, wealth, and ELF in the long run. And that's what I would have to say. So thank you all for being here. Want to wish you and your families super, super happy holidays. Go ahead and save the chat if you want to save the links. And anything else from anyone else, Dean or my team or anyone else?
I love it.
No. All right.
Ho, ho, ho.
All right, everyone. We'll talk to you next time, and stay in touch. Thank you so much.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Peace out.
Thank you, Dean.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Good job.
Bye,
everybody.
Ciao, ciao. Later.
Nice
you, guys.
meeting you as well, man.
Bye.
Okay, I hope you found that video awesome and useful. So if you want to get a free copy of my book, I want you to click here. And if you want to watch some more videos that'll be useful and awesome, click here. Go ahead. You're over here. Do it now. Come on. Thank you. Watch them.